there's a couple things I want to talk about with you guys, specifically things that are very important to me, and they should be important to you as well. I mean, it's all about people and about us as a whole and whatnot. First thing I want to talk about is Buddhism in the United States. You don't really hear much about it, mainly because it's not newsworthy, apparently. That's really the only reason people that don't go out of their way to look things up don't hear about it. Unless you're taking a religion class or something like that. You're not going to probably not even know what Buddhism is all about. Now, as a lot of people know, even if you don't know about Buddhism, you may be familiar with the Dalai Lama. So, we'll go from there. The Dalai Lama, pretty much a spiritual leader of Tibet, and he was also the head of government. It was a theocracy. Was a little bit strict. Not going to deny that. However, it's also not right for China to come and take over a perfectly functioning theocracy that was peaceful for the most part. Now, take into account that China took over Tibet over 50 years ago. And people have been going on about how Tibet needs to be freed for about that long. So we have people that care about other people being denied that it's not going to happen. And it's mainly because the West doesn't want to risk either geopolitical reasons or nuclear threat against China for standing up for a downtrodden society. And yeah, you get a couple reports from CNN or whatever, but actual people who care about the news and everything, this is just terrible. 14 monks so far, I believe. Yeah, less than a year. It is less than a year. 14 monks in less than 1 year have lit themselves on fire in Tibet. Now, you have it pretty shitty when your only other option besides living under an oppressive regime is to light yourself on fire. Now, people in America think we have it bad. However, we're only modeling ourselves after China. We're not there yet. So take into account, China's been doing this for a long time. They're experts on repression. So if the monks are lighting themselves on fire and suicide is frowned upon in Buddhism, as it is with most religions, it's pretty bad. The other flip end of this, as I was discussing earlier, was how Buddhists are viewed in the United States. They're not. They're really not. I do have a report here, however, that says statistically people are uncomfortable with Buddhists, mainly because they don't know about them. Buddhists are barely ahead of Muslims. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that, one, Americans on the whole are not very intelligent as far as world events, world happenings, and it's kind of their fault. I mean, the information is out there. However, when you really come down to it, what news can you really trust unless it's self-experience? But the point is, the reason that people don't trust Buddhists is because they don't know enough about them. It's like letting a stranger into your house. However, Buddhists are all about peace and self-enlightenment and that kind of stuff. You can't say you don't trust the Buddhists if the Buddhists have not given you a reason to. I mean, Muslims, on the whole, fantastic people. Buddhists, on the whole, never been aggressive towards another people. However, when they kill themselves, and that's newsworthy, That's a little bit fucked up, don't you think? We don't care about them at all. We don't care about the fact that every day people are dying from just starvation, lack of water, lack of clothing or housing. We don't care. We don't cover that in the news for Tibet. We cover it when they kill themselves. Don't you think that's a little bit fucked up? Another thing I wanted to talk about, it goes into this news corporation scheme, would be that many news organizations, again, don't really cover the news anymore. They're taking their propaganda to Fox-esque levels. And it seems that U.S. troops are being deployed to Israel kind of as an intimidation tactic for Iran. Now, personally, to my friends and various family members, I have been saying that we're going to hit Syria in March, and I think Israel is going to be stepping stone. It's going to go Israel, Syria, I'm sorry, Iran, Syria, or both at the same time. Now, Russia has come out and said that if they go near Iran, there can be explosive consequences, that I am quoting directly from the source. Explosive consequences for the U.S. Now, U.S. has pretty much been responsible for putting all of these crazy-ass motherfuckers in power to begin with. If not directly, then at least through funding, like we originally did with the Mujahideen. And now it's all biting us in the ass. However, if you pay attention to things, it all seems like a really fucked up chess game. Just think about it this way. We have bases. We have over 900 bases. That we can cover. That's 4 bases per country in the world, at least. I'm not even talking about heavily concentrated areas here. I'm just talking about on average. That's 4 per country in the world. Now, don't you find it kind of strange how we don't let anyone have a base on our turf, but we have our protection forces there? We haven't had a reason to be in Germany, or France, or Italy. Now we have more bases coming in Australia. The only reason I could possibly think of that would be to intimidate China. Again, we don't care about the Asians until they die, basically, is what the news is saying. We don't get daily reports of things happening in India unless you specifically look at Indian newspapers or something. You don't get that. You get saturated shit. So, this is my opinionated world report for at least 2 parts of the world for you people to look at, because it's affecting all of us. I will post links to my sites